success through your warm market. Why do we go to the warm market, and how do we go to warm market effectively? This is, as I built our business beginning in the 24 years ago, I literally mastered this, and I'm going to share why. I was having so much success in this arena that I sat down literally for 3 days and tried to say, what am I doing? Because I would have other people that would start and they'd say things like, I'm out of warm market, or I don't know how to call, or they weren't making a list. And there's a lot of things that were going on, or they weren't having success. So the little things, I sat down and I said, what am I doing that is producing such great success on the recruiting and the product side? So that's what today's all about. I'm going to share those things with you. Your $1 million business plan is to these 5 things. Use the service. Number 1, most important thing, use the service. Second thing, share the service. Share the business. Build for events. Events can be interviews during the week at a leadership training center. They can be a PBR. They can be a briefing. They can be a 2-on-1, a 3-way call. Everything is an event. So you don't just say, yeah, you know, this John Hoffman, I'm going to put him on a call with you, and he can tell you about this business. That's not building for an event. If I had a 3-way call with John Hoffman, I would explain he has helped over 20 people become millionaires. 40 people are earning 6-figure incomes. He's got the know-how to help you, Mr. Prospect, become successful. In this call, you'll learn why he's in this business and how he can help you. That would be a building for an event example. And then, of course, 5, teaching 1 through 4 to everybody that becomes part of your team. This literally is the business plan for dummies. Okay, so when we get off track, I want you to really ask yourself, are you doing the simplistic? Our $72 million mentor taught us these are the things you do on a daily basis. So this is your daily method of operation. In orange, we have share the service and share the business. That's the purpose of this call today. I'm going to talk to you about how to do those 2 things. Share. Okay, if we're going to share, but who do we share to? And the answer is your warm market. Let me define warm market, first of all. Warm market is anybody that is not cold. All right, so if I'm in Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and I meet somebody, I have a 3-minute conversation, they're no longer cold market. They have just become my warm market. So a 3-foot rule could turn a cold into a warm market in a matter of a minute or 2. So understand, warm market is not just all your sphere of influence that you have now, it's who you're meeting on a daily basis and engaging in conversation. That's one of my favorite things to do, is on the street warm market. I just engage with people, I care about people, I find out their background, I talk to them about what they do, are they happy with what they do, things like that, a lot of engaging questions, and pretty soon we're having this great conversation. We find areas of interest. Remember the 101 principle? I'm sharing the 3-foot rule. 101 means find the 1% of things that you have in common with that person and talk 100% about those things. So that's how you build rapport, the 101 principle. Find the 1% that you have in common and talk 100% about that. And so that will develop cold into warm in your daily walk through life out there in the marketplace, and that can engage you and add a lot more potential to your warm market recruiting and sharing the service. All right, so we share to the warm market. Call my warm market? Never. Okay, so why don't people call their warm market? There's 2 reasons. They have a fear of rejection, and they're worried about what that warm market person is going to think. Why do they experience the above? They don't understand their purpose. So they feel like they were selling a friend. So I was thinking, you know, when I was like talking to everyone and calling everyone my first 30 days, because that's what I was told to do, your first 30 days, call everyone on your warm market list. So I was told that. I said, okay. Even though I had great success in another business, when I came into this business, I put all my success from my previous business to the side, except for the fact that I had skill sets like discipline and tenacity, and I had a focus and single-mindedness. Those principles were great to bring forward into this business, but I was in a new business, new bat, new ball, new game. So for those that have a previous business success, that's great. But now you're in a new world. If I'm playing basketball and I take all my basketball skills onto the football field and I try to dribble the football, I'm going to not have success. Because even though they're both sports, even though I'm very disciplined in exercising and stuff and very athletic, when I get on the football field, I need to play with the rules of football. That is this business. So I'm going to talk to you really specifically about being business-minded and learning the principles of this business, not your other successes. That's great, great skill sets, but not the principles of what will bring you success, and that is your warm market. All right, so many people don't call the warm market, or they have this fear of rejection, or they're worried about what their warm market will think of what they're doing because they do not get their purpose. So let's deal with that and straighten that out. The purpose for sharing the service with everyone is because you care. If you use the service, number one on our list of our business plan for dummies, use the service. If you personally use the service, then you know, K-N-O-W, know why it's so great. You've experienced it. You've called a $300 an hour attorney without checking your pocketbook. You've gotten wisdom. You've gotten direction. You've gotten advice on anything. I called them already this week on some silly thing. You know, I'm calling all the time. Are you calling all the time? Are you using the service all the time? If you are, then you know what it's doing. So you care about all your friends, all the people you care about, and you want to educate and expose them so they can benefit from a service that you benefit from. That's it. That's the purpose of sharing the service. That's why in the first 30 days, you want to go out to everybody as quickly as possible to share the service. Now, what about sharing the business? This is a little bit different, okay? If you are a business person that understands that the legal and identity theft industries need local market penetration, and you want to create market dominance, then you need to think like a business person. If you have a company and you are in a town of, let's say, 400,000, okay? You have 400,000 and maybe there's 3 full-time people or 5 full-time people. Think about insurance. Think about real estate. Think about stockbrokers. How many stockbrokers, realtors, insurance people are there in the same exact town of 400,000 or wherever you're from? There's probably thousands. So if there are 5 people that are full-time in your little town, or 10 people or 20 people, versus 1,000 insurance agents and then 1,000 realtors and then 1,000, financial planners, why do you think 5 or 10 people are going to cover and create market dominance? Every small business person needs to be told about this service. Everybody with a family, everybody who owns a home, people that rent, people that own businesses, they all need to hear from you. Okay, so the thing is, your job description is to be an executive recruiter. Your mindset on the business side, expanding your business, is not like getting people in your business, like you're salivating over getting people in your business so you can make money on them. That is a very poor motive in your heart if you think like that. If you're thinking business-like, like any other business, you would be thinking, I can't extend myself. I can't reach these 400,000 people or these 2 million people in my town. I need other people doing what I'm doing so we can cover the local market and really make a difference in this community. If you're thinking that, you're thinking a business mind. You understand you need people. You have to bring them in. They do the 5 things, same 5 things, business plan for dummies. They're going to use the service. They're going to share the business, share the product, build for events, and teach 1 through 4 themselves, because if they then also go to their warm market and there's people that buy the product and also want to do the business, you're going to have a little bit more impact in your local market. And if that new person goes and shares to their warm market, and some people will say, wow, this is so great, I would like to be part of taking this to the market with you and being on this team that's going to serve the local community, great. They come on board, then they come. That's what you're doing as an executive recruiter. Any company would be doing that very thing. Key point in the sharing business, you are not an opinion seeker. I do not care what you think about what I do when I am an executive recruiter. If I am calling IBM because Apple has an opening for an accountant, in a position at Apple Corporation, and I am an executive director, when I call IBM, and I say, hey, Joe, you're an accountant at IBM. I'm really looking for there's a position at Apple that's open. Do you know anybody who's in the accounting business that is not happy with their job? I need to fill this position at Apple. I'm an executive recruiter. Who do you know? And that person at IBM might say, me, I hate working for IBM. I'd like to know about this position. Can we talk? Or they'll say, oh, yeah, I have another peer that just got laid off from, maybe another, Dell Corporation. Okay, so I call that referral. I get a referral, another name, because the person at IBM, it wasn't a fit for him. No problem. I'm an executive recruiter. Now, when I call the IBM guy does not say to me, really? You really think Apple needs an accountant? I really don't think. I really think that's weird. I don't really agree with that. I'm not looking for their opinion at all. Zero. Zippo. I don't care. I have a position to fill at Apple. I'm asking them, do they know somebody or would they be interested? Yes or no, next. Yes or no, next. That's the mindset of an executive recruiter. It's important that you are not an opinion seeker. So that is the purpose for sharing the business. Now let's go on. Share the service to build the business. Let's look at this chart in front of you. Here's you. This is you. All right, here's this person. They're sharing the business, new customer, sharing the business, new customer, sharing the business, new customer, sharing the business, new customer. The business is not for everyone. So what we're doing is we're sharing with the people we care about. And now this person here said, wow, not only do I love this service, but I'd like to help you take it to the marketplace. Now you're asking all of these customers here after your presentation if they'd be interested or know anyone who can help you to expand your business. There's great, great potential. There's great income. You say a few of those things. And if they don't say, oh, I'd like to know more, or if they're going to give you referrals, we're going to get to that in a second. But you will have a customer that says, yes, I'd like to know more. Then you take them through the process of that, and then they're now calling their warm market, and they're going to have more customers. But then one of their customers is, woo, look at this, is going to turn into an associate. And then they're going to do what? Use the service, share the service. Here's 3 customers by sharing the service, and share the business also with every customer to get referrals. And then this one here is a customer and associate. So when you share the service, you will build the business. Why is it so important to share the service to build a business? Because your very best associate is a satisfied customer. Now let's talk frank. Everyone out there on the phone call today, you have recruited people that could care less about the product. You've all done it. I know it. Okay, let's be honest now. And are they with you in your business right now? Are they with you after they get their first 5 no's? Are they with you still when they don't understand what our service does for a life, for a company? If they don't get that in their heart and they're just motivated by money or hype, the first bump in the road and they are gone. All right? So your best associate, your long-term, your 5-year, 10-year, 15-year associate is somebody that gets what this product does. And I can tell you, everyone on this phone has a bad day. You have a day where you've gotten all no's, that you almost start believing in, what they're saying and buying their story instead of walking with the Leo Shield story. So you've got to be careful of those. We all have bad days, but because you use the service, I can guarantee anyone who's been with 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you're still here because of what this does for you and the people that you have gotten the membership to. And so that is the #1 best associate. That's why we do this. That's why we share the service to build the business. It's the greatest foundation for $1 million business. Okay, now, how do we go about doing the warm market thing? The first thing to do is make a list. Sounds really basic. All right, so let's compare. A lot of people think, make a list, that's so weird. Oh my gosh, we don't make a list. Do you give me leads? Do you give me this? Isn't that how all business works? Well, let's look at that. So if I walk into a real estate agent, let's say it's RE/MAX, and I say, I want to become a RE/MAX agent. I'm going to start today. And I look at the broker. Will the broker give me 10 listings of $300,000 homes that I get to be the listing agent on? Or will the broker say, hey, Darcy, I have 5 houses that are going to close. Why don't you just take those over and get those commissions, and you can have all my closings? That doesn't happen. What they say is, Darcy, there's a phone and there's a desk. You call all of your warm market. Let them know you're in the real estate business. Let them know, this is a new career for you, and so that if anyone is that you know and care about is going to sell a house, you can tell them why they should sell a house with you. So now I got to go make a list, and I got to go talk to those people. How about stockbrokers? Do I walk in and they say, hey, Darcy, you want to be a stockbroker? I'm at Merrill Lynch now. And I walk in the door and they say, well, here's 10 people with a $10 million portfolio. Let me just hand these over to you, Darcy, and you can just start making commission on all those portfolios. Does it work that way, or has anybody seen, what's the movie with Denzel Washington when he played that stockbroker? No, he sat there and made the phone calls and phone calls and phone calls and phone calls, and he did the thing that the unsuccessful people won't do. He made the list and then he made the calls. So stockbrokers, they're not handed over a business. Insurance agents, they're not handed anything. Okay, then people say, yeah, but doctors. Now, if you became a doctor, you're automatically going to have success. And so I'd say to you, if you have a family doctor or a family dentist, and right now I moved into your town and I opened up and I put a shingle out there, family practice, Darcy Hoffman, would you all leave your present doctor and come to me? Or would you leave your present dentist and come to me as your new dentist? I'm new in town. I don't know anyone. I put up my little plaque that says I'm a dentist or a doctor. Does that mean people are just going to be storming my doors and I'm going to be successful just because I'm a doctor or a dentist? No. I'm going to have the first customer. I'm going to have to be very great with the first customer. They're going to be a satisfied customer. They're going to tell somebody else. And then I'll have 2 customers. And then those 2 customers are going to be super incredible with my service, and they're going to tell somebody else. And through word of mouth and through great service, I'm going to grow in the local community as a doctor, family practice, or as, I'm not talking about the big practices where, you're a corporate doctor. I'm talking about a small business owner, doctor, or dentist. Okay, so they have to fight. They have to get into the marketplace. They have to market themselves. They have to become known, and word of mouth is what helps somebody become successful. So I'm making a list. Stop thinking it's something to do with this business and nobody else does this. This is the way business works. My daughter was going to do an internship this summer. The way it worked was she had to call and walk in to 20 businesses a day. 20 businesses a day as a college person and sell a coupon book to a business owner. And so after that, at the end of the day, she had to write down on an email the system where she had to write every single business she went into, the 20 businesses she went into, and what happened. Did she talk to the owner? What was the dialogue? All these details of every single 20 business calls per day. All right, so that's what they do out there. So let's like grow up and say this is how business operates. People make a list. People make, a college intern selling coupon books is walking into 20 businesses a day. So if you were talking to 2 people a day and you're wondering why you didn't get the ring, I'm here to say you are not in reality for success. So that is one thing. Let's compare. Let's look at real business, real success, and let's start to operate in those principles. Second thing, do not prejudge. Let's see, I heard some names out there. Aaron Gonzalez. Actually, I don't know your background, Aaron, so I'll just use John Hoffman. John Hoffman, he was successful in, I have him on my list. Let's go to a list. Okay, let's say I have John Hoffman in Knoxville, Tennessee. I check all these boxes about what his background is, and I think I decide for John Hoffman, legal products, identity theft, he probably wouldn't be interested. He's Mr. Athlete. He likes all that athletic stuff. He likes adventure. He would never be interested in marketing Legal Shield. So I'm just going to go right past him. And then I'm going to put Brenda Lafredo here. Oh, man, she worked for IBM. She's an executive. She would never be interested in owning her own business, so now I'm not going to call her either. So I'm going to go down to the next person, and I start to decide on your behalf. Now, each person on this phone, you are an adult, okay? I just want you to imagine I am deciding on behalf of you as a fully fledged, mentally capable adult whether or not you should know about this service or know about this business. How does that fit with you? Do you like that I decided for you whether or not you should hear about the service or hear about the business, I don't think one person on this phone call is really wanting me to decide for you whether this is for you or not for you. And so I would pose to you to not do it to other people as well. So I don't want someone making my mind up for me. So let's not prejudge, okay? And the third thing here is prioritize. Prioritize is simply this list. One of the things I realized when I was seeing that people aren't having that great a success is they were just spraying and praying their efforts all over the place. They didn't have a logical top priority, then second and third. And the way we do this is we mark the name and mark these are the highest reasons they would become a member, and these are the highest reasons they'd want to do our business. So if I have a 10, if I have 3 10s on this page or 3 9s, that's who I'm calling first, just to put things in order, just to call the 10s, then the 9s, then the 8s, then the 7s, then the 6s, then the 5s. And then the thing is, you go back here to this, if I'm calling my 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, 5s, down to 5s, and this person right here is a 7, okay, he gets started in the business, and then I teach him the same thing, and he's calling his 10s, he's prioritizing a list, 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, 5s, then he's got this guy right here that comes on board with him, and this maybe is an 8, all right? So you're setting yourself up for a very strong foundation of a growing business. These are business-minded people. They're people that have diligence and tenacity and commitment and sacrifice. They get those things. They have the discipline to do the things the unsuccessful people will not do if they're a 8, 9, 10. So that's who you want to call first to build your business with a great foundation. So that's the top star prospects. Then you call everyone in your first 30 days. If you have not called everyone, start all over and call everyone your first 30 days. Why? Why in the world do I need to call everyone my first 30 days? Well, when I was thinking about, and I was working with people in their first couple years of this industry, I realized people are like, oh, I'm talking to 2 on Monday, and then I'm talking to 1 person on Tuesday, and they're actually believing that they're busy. They're actually thinking in your mind, and if you think in your mind you're busy and you're accomplishing, but you're not in reality accomplishing anything, you'll keep doing the same behaviors. So the key is I will share the service with, put a number in here. Whatever that number is for you, let's say it's 5. 5 new NEW people every day. You can't go below 5. You can go 10 in a day, but you can't go below 5. So on Monday, if I talk to 5, great. Then I met my goal. Tuesday, I talked to 10. Great. I met my goal of 5. Wednesday, I can't say, wow, I talked to 10 on Tuesday, so I can talk to 0 on Wednesday. The key to success in this business is consistency. So whatever number that you put in these 2 slots, you never go below it in your first 30 days. Really, to be totally successful and have a business that is going to pay you for a lifetime, you never go below those numbers ever. For at least your first 3 to 5 years, all right, if I want to be honest with you. 3 to 5 years, if you want to develop a pattern of success that people are attracted to and they want to be in business with you, these are the things you need to commit to. Now you say, why do I need to call everyone in my first 30 days? And here's why. If you want to build a $1 million business, and I'm talking about a $1 million business because if you're a ring, if you're getting the $100,000 ring, in 10 years you'll be a Millionaire Club member. Okay, so that's 10 years Millionaire Club member. There's no reason why everyone on this phone cannot be a Millionaire Club member. It's because this is a service that's not going away. If you stick to these basic principles, you will have success and you will be a Millionaire Club member. I thought about making this a $100,000 business, but I decided against it. I believe each one can make this a $1 million business, but that starts with you. What do I mean by that? Right here. You can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. So in my first 30 days, why did I call everyone on my list as quickly as possible? Because I was setting a pattern. I was setting an example. The word leadership starts with the word lead, and I knew that if I didn't do it myself, If I didn't use the Wealth Builders tracking form, if I didn't use the PDA sheet, if I didn't use the names, the top prospect name priority sheet myself, then I can't teach what I don't know. So I understood one basic success principle, and that was it starts with me in my behavior, my choices, my leadership. And I have to do the thing that I'm going to eventually teach people. So if I'm looking out 5 years, 10 years in my mind of my success as a business person, and I'm realizing if I'm coming into this industry, then I've got to be the one that has integrity in my heart to look out at that training class, look out at that team of mine, and I have to say to them, I did it. I made that list. I called everybody in my first 30 days. I was uncomfortable with sometimes. I didn't know what to say sometimes. I got some things thrown at me that I didn't know the answers to, but I did it, and I did it, and I called my coach, and I got better, and I got better. I was committed to the thing, and I know because I did it, and look where I'm at. If you do what I did, you'll be here where I'm at also. So that's the key of why you want to do that first 30 days. You can't lead where you won't go. If you won't make a list and then you recruit somebody and you really want duplication is the key to wealth, you're not going to duplicate yourself. Or let me tell another, a lot of people are like really great with making, I don't know, let's say 100 calls a day. I'm going to make 100 cold calls a day. Woo, you know. How many people in the world will make 100 cold calls a day? It's just not the kind of thing people will do. Or if they do it, they sure won't have success because the number of people that are successful doing that are just not, they don't have that skill set to get past that what do you call that person that separates you from the decision maker. But it's just not a very common, widespread discipline that anybody's willing to do. So if you think you can do it, well, that's great, but it's not about you if you want wealth. It's about whether you're duplicatable. It's not what you can do, it's what you can duplicate. So remember that key. All right, so let's talk about the two things, share the business, share the service. Right now, share the service. How? Ask for 15 minutes to share a service, helped you, blah, blah, whatever, however it's helped you. All right, so you fill in the blanks and use service. And
hey, Darcy, hold on a second. Hey, guys, just real quick. We have a dashboard here, and just so you know, we can see everybody now and what's going on. So somebody's background noise is muting in, very disturbing. Number two, I just sent everybody an email, and I'm sorry to interrupt Darcy, you know, but we can see when you're not attentive. We can see when your screen goes black, and what that tells us is you're doing something else, you know. And all I would do is encourage you to be in the moment. You know, this is about a 40-minute or so presentation. We open it up for calls. In this presentation, this type of a training has produced millions and millions and millions of dollars of income for people throughout North America. Why not you? But you got to be in the moment. You can't do two things at once. So, you know, that's just a leadership comment. You know, and leaders say sometimes what, you know, leaders are uncomfortable saying. And we want you to be at the top. We want you to make the money, but you got to be in the moment. You got to pay attention. Darce, go ahead.
Okay, and sharing the service, ask, present, and then ask for help. Explain that there's a great full-time and amazing part-time income. If you were me, who would you talk to who would benefit from our service, owns a business, or needs extra income? And the results are from all of your satisfied customers and all your presentations, you would earn a potential consumer sale from somebody. They would refer you to a family member or a neighbor or something. Okay, and there's another $100 to $250 for that. Or they say, oh, so-and-so owns a company, you'd get 50% of that. Or they'd say, I would like to be an associate with you, or I know somebody who's looking for something like this, and you'd add a new associate to your team. Every presentation you make, this is the 3 possible results. It's powerful. I just want to segue here for a second and show you, some people think, oh, I don't want to make presentations because there's not enough money in it. I want to go recruiting and all this kind of stuff. And again, people won't do what you won't do. So there's a sheet here. My commission goal for the month is, let's say, $2,000. Let's say I want to make $2,000. And when I say, if you could decide your base income, what you can live on base, okay, let's say it's $1,000 or $2,000, and then the rest you can build a team and you get overrides for your coaching. But what is the base income? The thing that you control is your hours, the number of presentations, and your attitude. 3 things you control. So if you take that to the marketplace and you say, I'm going to build a base of income of number of presentations I do, if I want to make $2,000, and let's say I'm at the manager level, insert your present pay level. So you're at manager, that would be 172. So 2,000 divided by 172, you're at a 50% closing, divided by 50% closing, divided by the number of weeks in a month and the number of days you're working, 5 days a week, it would look like this. If you're a manager with a 50% closing ratio on your consumer presentations and you want to earn a base income, what you control, it doesn't include the team overrides, of $2,000 a month, the equation for the number of presentations you would need to do each day is this. 2,000 divided by the 72, which is your commission level, divided by your 50% closing ratio, divided by the weeks in a month, divided by the days you're working. Literally, a $2,000 base income for sure with a 50% close ratio is 1 presentation a day. Everybody can do that. That's 5 days a week, 1 presentation a day. And there's people running around in circles doing all this kind of crazy stuff, and they're not sticking to the basics because they think, oh, the consumer presentations, there's not enough money in this. Now, let's imagine that I did this. Let's imagine this is what I did. And now I come across a potential associate that wants to be part of the business, and I show them how simple. 1 presentation a day, I'm making $2,000 a month now. And they're like, you've got to be kidding me. 1 presentation a day? I have time for that. I'm on top of my full-time income to make $2,000 a month. So they start to build towards, getting to the manager level and getting an income like that with a very part-time schedule. And so then they are able to share the trip, the BMW, and the $2,000 a month part-time income, and then they recruit more people because you're sticking to the basics. But then I have people that say, oh, I got to do this, and I got to recruit this, and I got to get people to a meeting, and they stop doing the basics. They stop seeing the people and telling a story about the service. So they don't have any income coming in because they haven't done the base. The first thing is sharing the service, okay? So they're not even doing 1 presentation a day to share the service, so they have no base income coming in because they think it's all about recruiting and getting people to do what they're not even doing themselves. All right, so I just wanted to show how amazingly powerful the income is with just 1 presentation a day, and that's at the manager level. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so these are the 3 results of sharing the service, now sharing the business. How do we do that? Simple, ask for help or direction. This is a little different. When I did share the business with people, I would, just like I called the IBM as an executive recruiter, I need your help, Joe at IBM. I am looking for, share the qualities I'm looking for. For me, if I'm looking for somebody who's a go-getter, money-motivated person, entrepreneurial-minded, coachable and teachable, that is not happy in their present job, I would say those things, if that's what I'm looking for, me, Darcy Hoffman. So I would say the thing I'm looking for, which says to me, everyone on this phone needs to write down the qualities of the person you're wanting to recruit. If you don't know what you want, if you aim at nothing, you're going to hit it. So be specific as an executive recruiter. If I called the IBM guy and I said, hey, Joe at IBM, I'm looking for somebody. Just looking for somebody, just anybody. You know anybody that needs a job, wants to make money? No, that's not what an executive recruiter does. I'm looking for an accountant that has a CPA degree, that is, blah, blah, blah. I'm very specific, and then he can think, hey, who do I know? And then Joe can possibly help me fill that position at Apple for an accountant. Same thing with your business. You're just an executive recruiter now. Now that we're in the sharing the business, you are an executive recruiter mind to help you better understand our business. All right, here's the next thing. I was thinking, why are people, oh, I'm Darcy, I'm asking for help, but nobody's interested. And I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, why am I having such success? What am I doing different? And then I realized that I understood. If I went into a doctor's office and I said to the doctor, I need help, and he said, okay, here, take this antibiotic, that would be crazy. This is how it would look. I walk into a doctor's office, I'd say, I need help. He'd say, where's the pain? I'd say, my knee. Then he would, work on the knee, do things to the knee, and subscribe to me whatever is necessary for the pain, and it would be specific to the need. If I say I need help, but I don't give them specifics, and they don't even know anything about my business, how can they even help me? So then I realized, in order for you to help me, Mr. So-and-so, I'd like you to come to a business briefing, or I'd like you to go to, I'm going to send you an email with a website. It's got a video, 4 minutes of your time. Once you watch the video, okay, so now we got 1 and 2, ask for help, and then to better understand our business, you need to watch this tool, come to an event, get on a 3-way call, those kind of things, because that makes logical sense. They can't help you with something they don't understand. So that's what I would say to somebody, and then I would, number 3, I would give them a reason to pay attention. Now, Joe, when you're watching that video or when you go to this event with me, I want you to think of people that would be a good fit, because my goal here is there's 2 million people in this city today, 3% market share. We have so much opportunity. I'm really looking for people that would be a good fit. And I need, also, as you watch this presentation or this video or this thing I'm sending you through email, whatever tool you're using, I want you to think of ways to create local market dominance, because this is going to be, we have so much opportunity, and I need really great marketing ideas. So now I've got them thinking of people, thinking of marketing ideas, so they're going to work for me. I'm not just like, hey, I got a business, and, it's very specific, and I've had great success. There was one story here, thinking of marketing. One guy went to his old boss, and the guy said, oh yeah, here's some marketing ideas. And a month later, he sent all these roses to his own boss. The boss calls him and says, hey, you really, you started a business, and he's like, you really can't afford to be sending me gifts and stuff like that. I appreciate, the help and the guy goes, no, I'm doing great. I'm making $7,000 a month now. And the boss is like, what? He's thinking in his mind, $7,000 a month? I'm only making $6,000 a month. And he's just like started this business on his own. He's got freedom. And all of a sudden the boss, who was only interested in giving a marketing idea, now was able to keep in touch. This guy kept in touch with him. And of course, guess who got recruited? The boss. All right, so it started with just give them a reason to pay attention. Think of ways to create local market dominance, marketing ideas. Who would you talk to if you were me? What businesses, how can I get into this market, and this niche market? You're kind of like explaining what success looks like in this business to a potential prospect. So they're like, dang, I know all those kind of people. You mean to tell me that these are niche markets that are doing really well? And then, see, that can create an interest where the person might say, hey, let's just do this together. And it'll be very natural, and you don't have to worry about selling a friend. That's the point. Okay, possible results are they will become an associate on your team because they will experience fear of loss. They'll experience fear of loss as you share all the potential and share your vision, and you're asking them for help. You're not asking them to do it, but then they're like, hey, there is a real timing to this business. I should be part of this. And then they'll say, why don't I come on board with you? And then can you help me with, penetrate these certain niche markets? And, oh, yeah, no problem, Mr. Joe Prospect. I would love to have you on my team. Let's do this together. Or they'll give you referrals. And if they give you referrals or marketing ideas, of course, you call them back and let them know the results, and that can also bring them as an associate. But not everyone will be an associate. So be okay with a referral, a customer, a business account. Those are powerful wins in your presentation. Okay, here's a principle. What is the motive of my heart? If you do ask, you do not receive because your reasons for asking are wrong. You want these things only to please yourselves. Here is Brielle Hoffman is in Knoxville, and she is absolutely kicking. She is just having great success. It's amazing what is happening to her. She is getting opened up to 6,000 in independent insurance. That's her recent presentation this week. John and her are going out. She's got great favor. Everybody wants her to be part of their team. Everybody wants to open their book of business. They want to work with her. She is having great favor. But what she does is she honors them. She honors the people in their business. She goes to serve them, not sell them. They know that. They see her. They see the way she operates in such an integrity and such a way of honoring their present business. Rather than walking in, you have no relationship with an insurance broker, let's say, and you're just like, this is the greatest product, and you should do this, and this will make you money, and you really don't even know, anything about that person, and all they want you to do is go away. because you don't care about them, you don't know about them, you're asking just so you can get a new account, you're asking for your own selfish motives, you're really not thinking about what's best for them. And so that is the difference between some of your successes is what you're asking. You're asking, but you're not receiving because you're asking with wrong motives. So that's a check. And then here's another one. This is a business point. Say less to more people because it's not about how good you are, Mr. Slick, Mr. Professional, Mr. Success Story, Mr. I got the best words to use in the world. It's not how good you are. It's how duplicatable you are. So keep to the point, say less to more people on the sharing the business, sharing the service, because whatever you are doing, if it's simple and fun and the prospect watching you says, wow, this is powerful, has great timing, this looks kind of fun, they're enjoying themselves, they're passionate, I'd like to do what they're doing. It'll be attractive. Okay, if it's a 3-hour presentation that you're doing, you're saying so much and you're Mr. Information, you know every fact in the book, you're impressive, but you're not duplicatable. So that is a very, very big business tip. Also, no debating on the service or opportunity. What does that mean? Anything you say that can be debated with, this is one of our original, this is a CEO in this industry that we just have great respect for, and he said if you ever say anything that can be debated with, you shouldn't be saying that. So work on very factual, very undebatable topics that you talk about in your delivery, in sharing the business and sharing the service. All right, let's do review. Open the lines. Back to you, John, and we can, what did I learn and how will I apply it?
Yeah, I tell you what, great call. A couple of things that I just wrote down is on the street, you know, that Darcy talked about is really a lot of fun. And I had this conversation with myself, and I encourage you all to write it down. I had this conversation with my daughters. Occasionally I have it with my wife. She's pretty amazing at it. But don't look back. Don't look forward. Look around. Let me just say it again real quick. Don't look back. Don't look forward. Look around. You know, hey, guys, be in the moment. Wherever you are, be there. And you will see amazing, amazing things happen. You'll see an opportunity to smile, to say hello, to build rapport, to pay a compliment. And on the street, cold market immediately becomes warm market. Quit pressuring yourself thinking that you maybe have to do your 30, 60, or 3-minute commercial right there. Just build the relationship, build the rapport, get their information, and maybe you follow up a day later. Okay? So anyhow, also, slow equals fast. I just want to make that comment. Please write that down. Slow equals fast. And what Darcy's saying about this conversation and her comments to Brielle, Bob Cohen can relate to this real well because Bob understands the fortune and the follow-up, is Brielle's out there building relationships, and instead of engaging that very second in that first relationship, maybe in what we're doing, she's building relationships and really sincerely wanting to know about the people that she's having a relationship with. And people just love her for it. Her and I walked into a broker, I think it was on Wednesday, and the national marketing director for the broker walked out, looked at Brielle, and just said, oh, you look beautiful, it's so good to see you. And I'm sitting behind Brielle over there, and I'm like, I didn't even exist. I mean, the gal didn't even give a rat's butt that I was there, and she just started talking to Brielle. Brielle got up, smiled, and told the national marketing director what a great event they put together, that she could tell the quality time and hard work that this lady put into the event they just were at. Just compliment. It wasn't fake. It wasn't kissing butt. It wasn't any of that. It was all sincere. Excuse me. And the relationship was phenomenal. And thus, the owner comes out, and we have a meeting with the owner and the national marketing director. You know, because of Brielle, we got back in after waiting 2 months. We had our first 2-month intro with the national marketing director. Because of Brielle's building relationships, we got back in with the national marketing director and the owner. And, you know, they said, because we like you guys and believe in this service, we can work with you, all because she simply built relationships. So with that, the lines are open, and before I throw it out to Bob, let's just run around for a couple of minutes. Cheryl Stendel has her hand open, but the only way we can communicate with you guys is if you put in your access codes followed by your PIN code when it comes to the audio portion. So who would like to make a comment or has a question or would like to just join in on this amazing topic this morning?
John and Shannon, if you have a moment.
Absolutely, John. Great to hear you. John and Shannon out in the Arizona market. John, go ahead.
We gathered around the kitchen here, and we are doing this call, and I've got to tell you, it's a hard one because we opened our center May 1st, and we grew our team, and things are going phenomenally well. And yet I, as the leader, am not doing what you guys are talking about doing. I'm doing my own process, my own system, relatively successful here and there, bringing my business background in, and what an amazing, humbling call. I got everybody ready for this morning. I said, guys, we're making a change. We're making a pivotal change. This is not a tool. This is the tool. This is the only way we're going to grow our business. And just a little bit of a humbling comment that way, but, you know, so grateful for changes because if you continue to make those changes, you'll always be successful. Success is required each and every time. If you make that change, it'll happen. So that's all I wanted to share, and team here are just pretty excited. We're sitting here making going through our list again and those kinds of things. So thank you so much for the call this morning.
Yeah, and John, I really appreciate your comment. What I love about the Remnex and John and Shannon is, you know, they're well connected. They've had a ton of successes and everything that they've ever done. John's also an author. And I just love his humility because he can get on a phone call like this and say, hey, you know, I need to make an adjustment. I need to, you know, kind of maybe change a couple of things. And, you know, I just think that's phenomenal. You know, Darcy and I believe in a concept called all-out massive action where we can marry, you know, cold market, on-the-street warm market, but we marry it to the most important part, and that's what Darcy talked about, our warm market. You know, if I do go into the cold market, I only go into the cold market to get their warm market list. And I promise you, I'm going to just tell you a quick story. I did do an ad, or Darcy and I have done numerous ads. Why? Because the market is hungry for what we got. But I only did the cold market ad to complement my warm market recruiting. This guy answers the ad. His name's Gary Teal in Holland, Michigan. He's a bartender and musician. He comes on board part-time, never does a doggone thing, but I get his list. Gary leads me to a guy in Traverse City, Michigan named Gardy Clausen. Been bankrupt 7 times, has a heavy equipment company. And Gary's like, I didn't even want to call Gardy. He's been bankrupt 7 times. I said, Gary, that's the very reason we want to call Gardy, because he never quits. He never gives up. Inside him is an entrepreneurial spirit. Inside him is a guy who's constantly looking for a vehicle so that he can be and have all that he rightly wants to be and have. So we get on the phone with Gardy. Gardy says, I like what I see. Gardy comes on board. Gardy puts a $15 VH video on his warm markets mailbox. The guy picks it up. His name's Mike and Kathy Duvall. They put it on their TV. It sits on their TV for 4 months. Mike comes home upset one day about insurance and being an educator in Traverse City, Michigan. He puts in the $15 VHS video. He calls the phone number on the video, which is to me and my wife. I'm out of town. He gets my wife. Mike and Kathy drive 3 hours from Traverse City, and they sit down in a meeting with Darcy Hoffman. You know, Darcy's expecting a lot of people to show, but only 2 people show, Mike and Kathy Duvall. Darcy and I were taught to do our best presentation, whether it's 1 or 10,000. Darcy does the presentation. These 2 get excited. They bring on board Jerry and Nancy Kropa. Jerry and Nancy Kropa introduce us to individuals in Brussels, Belgium, Maastricht, Netherlands. We carry the business into Germany, Italy, Spain, and not France, but the Benelux region, Netherlands, Switzerland, and Belgium, all because of warm market. You know, and so I could have never put that in a business plan. I could have never written that out. Just be, just do, and just know, because of what Darcy taught, you're only 1 recruit away from the actual explosion that's going to happen for every one of you. So I'll be quiet. I apologize. I wanted to share that. Who else is out there?
Well, this
John,
is Sharon.
Lori in San Francisco.
Real quick, Sharon, and then we'll go to San Francisco. Real quick, Sharon, go ahead.
Okay. I'm excited about the monthly financial goals sheet. I think that's awesome. And as all I heard throughout this call this morning is duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. And I have to say, say less to more, but it's how you listen. And so I'm really going to focus on that. I caught myself the other day when I was doing a consumer presentation saying too much and not listening enough. And actually caught myself. I love this. This is so awesome to get new people started and to continue doing what we're supposed to be doing. Thank you so much.
Hey, that's the strength of a leader, when you can catch yourself and have a plan, do, review in your head. And a lot of times all of our passions will have us talking, more than we need to talk. So that's awesome. That calculator Darcy shared up in Philadelphia was revelation knowledge for a lot of folks in that room too. So that's also. Let's go to San Francisco. I didn't catch the name. Who's out there?
Hi, John. It's Lori Fouts.
Hey, Lori. Great to hear from you.
Thank you. First, I just want to thank you and Darcy for providing this incredible executive leadership training every week. I know you don't have to do it, and it's just such a huge gift, and I just want to let you know I'm really grateful. And the second thing is, in regards to this morning, I'm not getting the results I'm looking for, and I always think of sports analogies and going back to the basics. This is short, sweet, concise, and doable. And Darcy had asked how we might use this, and I'm wondering if this wouldn't be a great thing to show a brand new recruit. Take a look at this. If you're willing to do this, I'm willing to work with you. So just a few thoughts, and mostly just want to say thanks.
All right. Well, thank you for the comments, and absolutely, this is what is really in the game plan interview with a brand new recruit. You give them a job description. You explain the value of the warm market, their contacts and credibility, your time and knowledge. You help them prioritize that list. They overcome their fear of rejection. They overcome their worriedness about what other people think because you help them to understand their objective. In the game plan interview, even before you ever sign the application, if in this training here, I discern that you can't do these things, you'll never do the big things, I won't sponsor you. And here's the good news, guys. Darcy recorded this today, so this is available now to every single one of you for your new recruits, and make it a prerequisite before they actually exercise their ability to work with your leadership. So, Lori, appreciate it. Who else is out there?
Tom in Santa Cruz.
Hey, Tom in Santa Cruz. Love Santa Cruz. Missed that area. Go ahead, Tom.
Great presentation, great set of slides. It's going to help me a lot. Can I get a copy of the slides?
Trish, Darcy?
Trish, do you put the slides up on the Shield Nation? If you go to Shield Nation under the webinar will be there. I guess you can put the PowerPoint up there as well, right? She can put the PowerPoint. So go to Shield Nation under Resources, and under Events and Webinars, and go to today's webinar, which is Success Through Your Warm Market.
Thank you very much.
You bet. ShieldNation.com under Events and then Webinars. And again, here's what I ask is, because of what we do, please, every one of you commit to us. Go to the Shield Nation site and make a comment about what Darcy did today. If you didn't like what Darcy did, don't make a comment. If you did, put a comment on the Shield Nation site, please. Secondly, go to Shield Nation Facebook and put a like on there so that not only you can get all the blogs that are coming out, but also when you get a chance and you see Brooke Peterson, give a big thanks to Brooke Peterson because of the hard work she puts into writing these blogs. She's busy, she's newly married, she has a business, but she does this on behalf of the Shield Nation organization, and she's just an awesome, awesome, awesome leader. So thanks to Trish for her hard work for every one of you, to Brooke, to Darcy. Who else?
Hey, John. Bob Cohen.
Yeah, Bob, go ahead. I was going to throw it to you here in a second, but any comments you have, Bob, and thoughts? Over to you, buddy.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, just a great call, a great webinar for folks to refine in advance. You know, here I am. I'm finishing up my 2.5 weeks out here in the California market, and what a great business. Just to hang out with team, hang out with some great people. You know, I guess how many nights I spent in a hotel, John and Darcy? Zero.
Per month is,
you know, that was my whole goal, is to really get
Bob,
to know
hold
the
on.
team.
Bob, hold on. Consuelo, please keep your background noise off the phone. Thank you. Go ahead, Bob.
Sure. And had an opportunity to, you know, spend some time with Sherry down in San Diego, and her mom's in the business as well, up in the LA market. Denise Baldwin here in Orange County. And this is a fun business, folks. You know, had it not been for Legal Shield, I tell you, I would not have, you know, met. In fact, last night we had a sit-down training with, you know, brand new associates on Denise's team, Derek and Nailene. You know, they were fortunate to come out and see Mr. Rip Mason last Thursday in the LA market with Mr. Darnell Self, and then you know, just completely excited, as you can imagine. And so yesterday we actually sat down. We went over these same forms. We went over the PDA form. We went over, you know, how to schedule your time here, your Legal Shield business in your life. And I just appreciate, you know, now, you know, hearing these principles that have produced millions of dollars of income, because that warm market is just so important. And that's exactly what we talked about, going over the list. How do we approach the list? And it was just a lot of fun, because they're like, oh, what about this person? What about this person? Great, put them down, put them down. Let me get myself out of the way just for a second here. Introduce Denise Baldwin. She's got a couple comments.
Good morning. Thank you so much again for this really awesome training. It really has been helping me to focus and apply the principles, which I've been very lax about. So again, just thank you so much. I think one of the main things I wanted to say is your number one comment that you made today, and it's on the screen, about how to build your $1 million business plan. And the number one point was use the service, and I think that's what happened for me. Is I've been a satisfied customer for 5 years. That's how I started with the business. Before I started the business, I was a satisfied customer for about 6 months, using the service every month, having a law firm help me review contracts, documents, and, you know, just consultation on buying some property. And I continue to use it. I think I've used it about 36 times. People always raise their eyebrows and think, what? But I've always shared the stories of how I've used it, from the trivial $40 Bally's gym membership issue to my IRA trust problem that I had that was very traumatic for us. So very, very satisfied, and I think that's always the number one thing why we're working in this business. We have to have something we believe in, otherwise we have nothing to share and sell and be excited about. So again, thank you so much again. Bye.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's awesome. Thanks, Denise. Bob, thanks a bunch. And from a $40 trivial issue to something traumatic like an IRA and a trust, I mean, 36 times, and that's the story for all of us who just do life, you know. And I made a comment to someone earlier, I think yesterday, I go, you know, 40,000 people last week needed and used the Legal Shield service. Ladies and gentlemen, if it wasn't for you, those 40,000 people would have been left out in the cold. Because of you, 40,000 people had access from trivial to traumatic, which means they can have peace of mind and not have to worry about the frustrations and kinks of life. Okay? So you're serving a greater need in the marketplace than almost any other company that might be out there. So when we get serious about understanding what we do, we'll increase our exposures. One more and we'll wrap it up.
John, my name is
Marv Worthy,
Ty.
Pennsylvania.
Well, we'll go Marv real quick, and then we'll go to Ty. Go ahead, Marv. Marv to you, then we'll go off to Ty.
Thanks, John. I just want to, first of all, say thank you so much for this incredible training. I'm a visual learner, and what this has done for me and my business and my perspective has just been absolutely phenomenal. I do want to comment on one thing that I heard that hit me pretty hard, and that is, it hit me in a positive way, and that is the story about Brielle and the relationship building. And I couldn't agree more that over the last week and a half, I've gotten back to making sure that people understand what my purpose is and why I'm passionate about doing this business. And in doing so, I've been able to get individuals who are initially just interested in the membership to be really seriously thinking about getting into this business, not to make money, but to be able to be a part of a team that goes out and makes an impact not only in their local community, but understand the reach that we have available to us to make a real impact in the lives of people, really to care about other people's children. And I think that's what we do with this service. And so I'm just thankful, really, just really thankful to be able to be a part of this team and this leadership. And so that's all I just wanted to share. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Marv. Appreciate it. It was great seeing you up in Philly. And I will be out in New Jersey with Obina Endu, and I believe Marv and the team are coming up from Philly, as well as Cliff Malloy this Friday and Saturday out in New Jersey doing a blowout Super Saturday there, if any of you can take advantage of it. Ty, we'll wrap up with you. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is my first time actually listening all the way through, and I'm telling you, it is such an eye-opener. I just can't express it enough. I appreciate everything I've heard today. It stepped on my toes a whole lot, but it's given me some momentum and some encouragement because I'm the only one here in my area feeling like a lost duck, but I'm glad that I'm plugged in, even though I got to go to this job that I don't like. I'm going to be late, but this was worth it. I really appreciate everything, and I will be on the next call, and I hope to have some further news. Thank you so much.
Well, good. Well, we're glad you could make this call, and I would encourage everybody to get the word out to as many people as possible in respect to what happens on Friday mornings. Let's be the message that we want to bring. And with that, Darcy, thanks so much for your time. This has been recorded. You would be able, Trish, one more time, where will everybody be able to find this?
Right here, John, on events, shieldnation.com, events. You go to webinars, click there, and it will be, eventually it'll be here. It'll be June, 21st? We'll be right here. So she will load this up right once it's done in the next half an hour. It'll be on the line. So okay. Shield Nation events, webinars. See up here?
Perfect. And just a big thanks to Brenda Lafredo and John Remnick last week while Darcy and I were up in the Philly market. What an amazing job Brenda and John did. We got numerous comments about the Friday webinar those two did, and consider to give thanks to an amazing team of leaders who bring their experiences to serve the interests of this organization so you all can grow into six-figure ring earners and Millionaire Club members. Anything else from you, Darce? Okay. All right. Everybody be blessed. Have an amazing day. Let's close out June strong. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.